This is an update video that I've been needing to make for a long time. It'll be posted on the GoFundMe to update people who have been so generous and helped me and my wife make it as far as we have along this journey to save her life. We started in North Bend, Oregon, where we live. We ended up leaving our home and going 400 miles to Portland. My wife was in OSHU hospital for 30 days. We had some really hard times, and there was a few times where I thought we were going to lose her. But through the strength and generosity of this family and all of you donors, I was able to stay with my wife in Portland the entire time. You helped me pay for rental cars and motel rooms. During Tammy's 30-day stay at OSHU, she was denied a liver transplant ultimately. She had her lungs drained, her right lung 14 times, her left lung about 9 times. She had 3 pleural effusions. She had a procedure to try to stop lymphatic fluid from filling up in her lungs. She struggled each and every day to become stronger and healthier. Unfortunately, after 2 weeks of being at OSHU, the transplant team decided to put her in front of the transplant committee. She was not nearly well enough at the time to be considered for transplant, and it was a rush job on their behalf. They failed my wife in many ways. From the nursing staff trying to tell my wife that I was acting in her best interest and I wasn't there as her advocate, but there to damage what they were doing. She knew better. From erroneous and false accusations made against me by OSHU that brought on security people saying that I threatened to harm myself or others, which was never a statement I would have ever made. The people who know me know I'll never harm myself. After 2 weeks, and they tried to transplant certify her, unequivocally denied her without a chance of ever being reconsidered in Oregon for a liver transplant at OSHU. Then they moved her to the ICU unit. In the ICU unit, they again took many, many liters of fluid off of her lungs. And ultimately, the time in the ICU got her extremely healthier, in a better place, where she probably could have passed the transplant certification if they had done it at that time, but they hadn't. They had done it a week earlier, and they weren't changing their mind. They tried to force my wife into hospice care in a nursing facility. They wanted to leave her there to die, to languish and perish. But God had other plans. A very kind, generous, and loving human being who already had too much on their plate opened their home unequivocally, without question, and gave us a place to be in California, where we currently are. She helped us find state resources to gain insurance. She's given us hot meals on a regular basis and taken very good care of me and that insists me in taking care of my wife. She's done many things to help us along the way. Dory is an amazing human being. On TikTok, she's known as Irish Kisses. To me, she is my friend, my sister, and my family for life. And I will forever be in her debt. We are now to the point where we have established California medical insurance for my wife. We have also now obtained a vehicle that we still owe about $1,000 on to pay off. It was brought to us by another member of the family that is so generous in helping us. His name is Robbie, or Archaeology Devil Dog on TikTok. There's been many, many great donors along the way. My dear brother and friend, RJ. He has stood by my side from the very beginning. And sadly, he knows the pain that I'm in because he fought with his wife for 2 years. And ultimately, she did not make the liver transplant or the lung transplant she needed. My heart breaks every day for him. And I pray that that's not my fate and not Tammy's fate. But through you, kind donations and generosity, we've made it this far. And through the grace of God, He has delivered all of you to us at the time that we needed. And I hate to be forever asking for help, but this is a long journey. And as my friend RJ reminds me, because he knows so well of it, this is not a sprint, but a marathon. This is not a regular fight, but a title bout. And where there may be 12 rounds in the fight, we're still only at 3, with a long uphill battle and a very hard opponent to fight. We are currently in the situation now where we are in California, approximately 250 to 300 miles away from LA. Our goal, UCLA Ronald Reagan Medical Center. They have Tammy's medical records that were sent from OSHU. And they had told us at the time that if we got the insurance, that they would accept her into the program and try to see if they could get her transplant certified. They are one of the top hospitals in the nation with a very high success rate. And they take on cases that are hard that most hospitals will not. I have learned that through the various research that I've done. We are hopeful, and we believe that God has delivered us here for a purpose. To California, to this place, and Portland was our proving grounds of our faith to show that we truly believe that God is great and God is good, and He is forever on our side and walking through this journey with us. And where I falter in faith sometimes, I have loving friends and family now who stand beside me to remind me of everyday blessings. And that the glory of God isn't always seen in our everyday lives, but felt in our hearts. Through the presence of strangers who show us that God is with us. And the kindness and generosity of many, many of people. At this time, we are struggling to raise enough money to move down to LA. We have everything in place for Tammy to begin the process, except for a place to live in LA. We have located a few options, but the fundraising is not going as we had hoped. It would be about $2,200 a month or a little more to rent an Airbnb within 30 minutes of Ronald Reagan Medical Center. And I'm asking, please, if you have any way in your pockets to help us this time, this is the one piece that pushes us ever closer to the goal of Tammy's liver transplant and a long, healthy life. Without this piece, we languish. We sit here and wait. Over the last 30 days, we've been here at Irish's. We've had many struggles along the way, from acquiring insurance to getting medications that Tammy needs on a daily basis to survive and to make life possible. But through those struggles, we were able to find hope and we were able to find a path with RJ's guidance on how to navigate the medical system and the medical billing of the insurance and how to speak direct to the correct people and get things approved. We were able to get all of Tammy's medications that she needed, including the one that was over $3,000 to purchase. We were able to get covered by the insurance within 7 days of her needing it, being out of it. That setback did cause her to go backwards some. Her lungs had started to become congested, not filling with fluid, but just highly congested. She was having a problem maintaining oxygen while sleeping on her left side, to the point where at times it was down in the low 70s. On average, it was in the low 80s. I was able to go and purchase an oxygen concentrator machine with the last of the money that we had available to us. The other day we drove 345 miles round trip to get it and get back to where we're staying. But since then, Tammy's oxygen levels have been staying good while she's awake and active, and now we have her at 97 to 98% on approximately 1 liter of oxygen at night. I fear every single day with my whole heart that if we don't get to LA soon enough, she's not going to be healthy to be transplant certified. And we'll end up in the same place we were when we went to Portland, where she was too sick and they were unable to get her well fast enough to make a decision. This cannot be our fate here. Right now, Tammy is healthy. And with a little bit of guidance from physical therapy and from some palliative care, I believe that she could become strong enough very quickly to make the qualification for liver transplant. So I'm asking you, if you know of somebody who has a property near to Ronald Reagan Medical Center, we must be within 90 miles or 90 minutes. Now, with LA, that means about 30 miles away to make it 90 minutes. That you or somebody could rent at a cheap or discounted price, or if you know somebody who has a place they could provide for us to sleep and stay in. All we need is a room and access to a kitchen. And we can move forward to getting Tammy finally treated. I don't want to make this video too long, but I love you all. And we are forever grateful for every soul who has come into our lives to help us with Tammy's journey. And without each and every one of you, Tammy would not be here today. We know in our hearts that she would be deceased if we had not left North Bend, Oregon, and headed to Portland when we did. And we were only able to do that by the grace and love of you guys and God bringing you to us. So I know times are tough, and I know it's the holiday season. But please, if anybody can, please share the gift with us so we can get to LA. So that Tammy can begin to live her life once again and receive the life-saving liver transplant that she so desperately needs. Thank you, and I love you.